Hi, it's Zip Dude. Join me as I put my Huffy Dakari to the test on the 12.5-mile scenic Susquehanna Warrior Trail. Let's go. Just to recap, about 2 months ago I bought my Huffy Dakari 27.5-inch mountain bike. In one of my other videos I documented the assembly and the first ride. Today I'm going to try out the bike on a longer ride. The location that I selected is the scenic Susquehanna Warrior Trail. It's located off of US Route 11 near Susquehanna, Luzerne County, Pennsylvania. This trail is 12.5 miles long. A little history about the land that eventually became this trail. It was originally a railroad bed that was used by the Delaware, Lackawanna, and Western Railroad that goes along the Susquehanna River. The railroad operated from 1851 to 1960. Its main purpose was to transport the region's anthracite coal. In 2007, construction started on the Susquehanna Warrior Trail. They currently have 12.5 miles of it completed and plan to have a total of 16 miles once the project is finished. Work on the trail is completed by a small group of volunteers who realize the importance of outdoor recreation. One of the major fundraisers the group has is a 5K race and fun walk in the spring. Many other nonprofit organizations also use the trail for fundraising events. Although the trail is 12.5 miles, you can use 5 of the trailhead parking areas to jump in at various locations along the trail. The trail is about 10 feet wide, has a packed gravel base, and the grade is mostly level. The majority of the trail is shaded by large trees. There are no public restrooms on the trail, and when it comes to waste disposal, the trail is pack in and pack out. There are some unique sights you see while using the trail. There are a few abandoned buildings, land that surrounds a state prison and its firing range, a cemetery from the early 1800s that no longer has direct road access, the entrance to a scrapyard, and an operating movie drive-in. We'll talk more about these things. Let's start the ride. I started my journey from the south at mile 0 and headed north. At the beginning of the trail, you have railroad tracks on your left and a former canal running along the Susquehanna River on your right. The river itself is a little farther on the right. Railroad tracks terminate pretty quickly. I rode the trail to the end and then recorded things to share with you on the way back. Near the end of the rail, you can see there are some downed trees over the rail lines. I can only assume that these haven't been used in quite some time. There are several spots along the way where you can get a great view of the Susquehanna River and the land surrounding it. It's just so picturesque, so peaceful. And as you can tell by the noise, most of this trail is relatively close to US Route 11. On the north side, the trail ends just ahead of the Garden Drive-In at Canal Park. Years ago, these things were everywhere. Now there are a little over 300 working drive-in movie centers in the United States. Let me take a moment to show you what this one looks like. When in season, the Garden Drive-In offers viewings on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. For $7 per person, you get to see 2 movies. They also have a flea market on the grounds every Sunday. As you can see, things look like they are well kept here. This is a place that I'm definitely going to check out in the summer. I am riding back to my starting point. Now seems like a good time to talk about how my Huffy Dakari is working for me on this trail run. I am 5'7" and 200 pounds. When I was looking to buy a bike, I wanted one that would be big enough to use on gravel trails and occasionally use as a commuter. This bike seemed to be what I was looking for. But after a few short rides, I quickly realized that my body type did not enjoy the stock seat at all. It made riding distances challenging, to say the least. I went to my local store and bought a bigger seat, and that seemed to do the trick and relieved my riding discomfort. The hydraulic disc brakes work great when it comes to stopping the bike, and overall performance of the Huffy Dakari is good for me. I am not doing any heavy off-roading with it, but it definitely works for what I want at a price point that was acceptable to my wallet. What we're passing now is a natural gas plant owned by UGI. This power plant is sandwiched between the trail and the Susquehanna River. What you're seeing here is a bridge that takes you to a state prison. SCI Retreat is a state prison that runs along the Susquehanna River and is accessible by Route 11. There was an informational kiosk here at this location that gave a lot of information about the history of this spot. This was originally a state hospital, was decommissioned, and then became a state prison, which is a medium security prison, in 1988. It's interesting, as you ride along, you'll see notices that you should keep moving. I understand that hanging around a prison is probably someplace you don't want to be, but other than for the security issues I can see on their end, it's a safe place to be. As we go a little further down the trail, you'll see there actually is a firing range that the state prison uses around this location. But when I was through there, I didn't hear any bullets or gunshots or anything like that. At the 6.5 mile marker, you'll find the Search Cemetery. It is just a short walk off of the trail to the graveyard. If you didn't see the sign marking its location, you would probably pass on by, not even noticing that it was here. Lot Search, one of the founders of Susquehanna, is buried here along with Civil War veterans and people who passed away in the early 1800s. As you can see, it could use some help in maintaining it. It looks very overgrown with grass, weeds, and bushes. Some of the tombstones have fallen over, along with the fence that borders it. At one time, it was maintained by scout groups, SCI retreat prisoners, and the Fish and Boat Commission. I'm not sure if that's still the case or not. The farther south I go, the more populated the area becomes. You can see the trail kind of goes behind some people's property, like the backs of their house or the backs of businesses. And there are a couple times where you end up actually crossing active streets. There is a portion of the trail that you can only access by utilizing the road or the sidewalk. And now, back to the trail. One last thing I'd like to point out. When you're on the trail, you come along an area that kind of looks like a storage facility or a junkyard. I did see people there. I think they might live there. And they have a bunch of surplus equipment that they have laid out in an organized manner along the property that abuts the trail. If you're into that kind of thing, it is pretty interesting to look at some of the things that have outlived their usefulness just sitting there. I'm sure one day somebody's going to take some of those leftover parts and help fix something else and keep it going. And this concludes my review of the Susquehanna Warrior Trail and also the ride of my Huffy Dakari. I enjoyed them both. I liked them both. And this trail is someplace that I will be checking out in the future. There are plans to extend this another 2.5 miles or so north to make this like a 16-mile trail. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. Take care.